Welcome to this explainer. When looking at the career landscape for 2026, there is one thing that becomes incredibly, undeniably clear from the data. Learning artificial intelligence is no longer just some fancy bonus skill to put on your resume. It's literally the new baseline for career survival. Honestly, it doesn't even really matter what your background is, what industry you're in, or what your current job title happens to be. AI is the great equalizer right now. So today, we're going to break down a definitive step-by-step roadmap for mastering AI this year. And we're pulling this directly from the latest curriculums at Syracuse University, Coursera, and getting some real-world blunt insights from hiring managers who are actually in the trenches.
Okay, let's dive right into this agenda. We're going to start at the AI crossroads, then we'll explore the no-code power user track, and after that, we'll unpack the technical AI builder. Finally, we'll demystify some advanced models and cover the exact portfolio strategies you need to actually go out and land a job. Section 1. The AI Crossroads. Use versus build AI.
Now, before you open a single course or start experimenting with some shiny new tool, the sources all point to one absolutely crucial question. And this really cuts through all the overwhelming noise and anxiety of the current AI landscape. Here it is. Do you want to use AI, or do you want to build it? You absolutely do not have to be some kind of math genius to master artificial intelligence, I promise. But figuring out exactly where you want to stand on this learning spectrum, that is step one. So, we're really looking at two totally distinct paths here. Path A is the power user. Now, this is for professionals who just want to multiply their daily output and automate their work, all without writing a single line of code. And the crazy thing is, you can actually see a return on investment here in a matter of days. On the flip side, we have Path B, the AI builder. This is the deep technical track for folks transitioning into data science or AI development. This one requires learning Python, it requires math, and honestly, it takes months or even years to fully master. But the long-term career ceiling is incredibly high. Both paths are incredibly valuable, but they require entirely different mindsets and time commitments.
Section 2. The no-code power user. Automate and multiply.
Okay, so if you're starting out on the power user track, the data really suggests prioritizing high-yield, non-technical foundational courses. Programs like Google AI Essentials or Andrew Ng's AI for Everyone are pretty much considered the gold standard right now for workplace integration. Because the goal here isn't to become a software programmer. It's to figure out exactly what AI can, and just as importantly, cannot, do for your daily task list. Oh, and for getting the absolute best output from large language models, Vanderbilt's prompt engineering course is highly recommended.
And speaking of prompting, check out this 5-part formula mapped out by Syracuse University. Listen, prompting isn't magic, right? It's basically just clear communication. Whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, structuring your request makes all the difference in the world. First, give the AI a role like you are a senior marketing strategist. Then provide context about your specific project. Define the exact task. Set constraints, things like word count or tone of voice. And finally, specify the format, like a numbered list or a table. Following this exact formula takes your output from a generic robot to highly tailored and professional in seconds.
But hey, reality check time. AI is absolutely not a magic wand that just does your job while you take a nap. Syracuse University actually warns against what they call the 80-20 fallacy. AI is going to handle the 80% heavy lifting for you, the drafting, the brainstorming, structuring the data, but you, the human in the loop, have to provide that final 20% of judgment, context, and polish. Without human oversight, you risk AI hallucinations and data security breaches. Your human judgment is literally what makes the AI's output usable.
Section 3. The technical AI builder. Coding the systems.
Now, if you're taking the builder path, there is a massive pitfall we see in the developer community all the time, getting completely stuck in tutorial hell with like 50 browser tabs open. Let me be clear, passively binge-watching AI videos is not learning AI. The sources heavily emphasize that you have to get your hands dirty. You learn by writing Python, by downloading datasets, building models, and inevitably breaking things so you can figure out why they failed. Basically, every single hour of passive watching needs to be matched by an hour of active coding. And yes, building AI requires math, but let's demystify this right now. You absolutely don't need a PhD. You just need to know how linear algebra computes neural networks using matrices. You need to know how calculus powers optimization, specifically a thing called gradient descent, which is how models actually learn. And you need probability and statistics to evaluate your model's performance. You're really just learning this math foundation so that when your code fails, you actually know how to debug it.
Before we dive into the really complex neural networks, the curriculums highlight two main learning paradigms, and they break them down super cleanly. Think of supervised learning like having a teacher. The model learns from historical labeled data, say a list of past fraudulent credit card transactions, so it can predict future outcomes. Unsupervised learning, though, that's more like exploring into the unknown. The model looks at a massive, messy pile of unlabeled data to find hidden groupings or structures, like segmenting your customers based on purchasing behavior without ever being explicitly told what those segments are.
Section 4. Advanced Models and MLOps. Let's explore deep learning.
So think of AI a bit like a Russian nesting doll. Inside artificial intelligence is machine learning, and inside that is deep learning, which relies on these multi-layered neural networks. But you don't just use one type of network for everything, right? Convolutional neural networks, or CNNs, are your absolute go-to for grid-like data. They're what power facial recognition and medical imaging. On the other hand, recurrent neural networks, or RNNs, actually maintain a memory of previous inputs. This makes them perfectly suited for sequential data, like language translation or analyzing stock market time series data.
When you are actually ready to start building, picking your framework is a huge deal. Looking at the industry favorites, TensorFlow is your heavy lifter for large-scale enterprise deployment and rock-solid production stability. Now, if you're a beginner wanting to prototype something super quickly, Keras is incredibly user-friendly. And interestingly, if you want total flexibility, dynamic computation graphs, and you're leaning more toward cutting-edge research, PyTorch is widely considered the absolute top choice right now. So just pick the tool that matches your specific project goals.
Okay, if there is one advanced technical skill I have to highlight today, it is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Instead of an AI just guessing or hallucinating answers based on its outdated training memory, RAG securely connects the model to your specific external data. We're talking about your company's private PDFs or internal wikis. It essentially forces the AI to use your exact context, which makes it one of the absolute most in-demand practical skills for building enterprise applications today.
Section 5. Building your AI portfolio. Let's get you that job.
To really bring both of these paths together, I want to share a pretty blunt truth straight from a hiring manager on a popular machine learning forum. The reality is, the market is completely flooded right now with people holding degrees and basic certificates. If you are entirely self-taught and you don't have a portfolio to actually prove your skills, honestly, it's extremely unlikely anyone will ever even see your application. Degrees and certificates are common. A well-documented portfolio that solves real-world problems is what actually gets you hired.
So what does this mean for you? How do you actually get that real-world experience? Well, the roadmap points straight to Kaggle. It's super simple. You just sign up, totally ignore the intimidating expert competitions for now, and head straight for the getting started challenges. And the best part is, you can use Kaggle notebooks. This means you code directly in your browser without needing to set up some massive, complex environment on your local computer. You can literally submit your first solution and start learning from the community today.
As you start building out your GitHub, you want to follow a really logical progression. Start small. Do a clearly defined beginner project, like an email spam detector or a basic chatbot. Once you're comfortable there, step it up to intermediate projects like retail demand forecasting. And then, to absolutely undeniably prove that you are job ready, tackle advanced multimodal systems. Better yet, actually deploy your models on cloud platforms like AWS or Google Cloud. That way, a hiring manager can just click a link and interact with your creation from anywhere in the world.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. You know, the best time to start learning AI was probably 3 years ago. But the second best time? That is this weekend. Please don't wait until you feel perfectly ready, because I promise you, the technology is not going to wait for you. So whether you choose to leverage the power user path, or you decide to dive headfirst into Python as a builder, pick one small project and just start it before Monday. So what's it going to be? Which path will you choose today? Get out there and start building.